I am a college educator and I teach online. And as you may know, when you teach online in college, you teach with a learning management system, or at least most college instructors do. And one of the things that I continually struggle with is trying to navigate the space between the learning management system and many of the easy to use tools that are out there that are becoming more and more fluid, more and more creative, and how to make them work effectively with the learning management system and how to create a design that makes sense for my students. So one of the tools that I've been exploring this week is Tackk, and I'm finding it very intuitive. I love the visual interface. I teach the history of photography, so anytime I can find a tool that allows for me to integrate images fluidly, and I see the possibility for my students to start to create content very easily, I get really excited. So right now I'm looking at Tackk as an option for me to create content, and then down the road I'm thinking maybe next semester I'm looking at it as an option for my students to create content with. So I wanted to share with you something I created. This is my Tackk account, and this is a first. I think this was the first Tackk I created, and it's basically the overview section of my first learning unit. So I just want to show it to you real quick. This is what it looks like in Tackk. I'm not going to go through all the details, but it doesn't include kind of the learning activities elements for my students, but it includes kind of the introductory elements of the learning unit. And now I want to take you over to a couple of other windows, but this is my learning management system. This is my online class, and I'm going to show it to you both in a web browser on the left, and over on the right I'm using the application Reflector to share my iPad with you so you can see what it looks like on an iPad. So right now what I'm learning, when I look at my online class, this is the opening page. My class is not live yet because my class doesn't start for 2 weeks, but I do have an announcement for my students to access. It welcomes them to the class, and it has a really lively, fun video here to play that I created in Animoto that I love having them see when they come into the class. It's intended to be engaging and get them excited about the class. The problem is over on the iPad you can see it doesn't render. So some of my content, the videos, do not render in iOS, and I actually didn't know that until today. So that's a problem. Now, what I want to do here is go into the learning units area. I'm going to click there on my desktop and also click into it on my iPad. And open Unit 1 Getting Started, and you're going to see what it looks like. This is the traditional design of the unit. This is how my students have seen it for the past several semesters. You're going to see that the introductory video, which is me speaking to my students and welcoming them to the class, actually doesn't render in the iPad either. Another thing I didn't realize until today. So got some problems to work out there on the mobile front with Blackboard. You learn a lot when you actually dig into things on the mobile front, and we know that our students are accessing content more and more on mobile. So this is becoming more and more critical. So basically the overview section includes a few steps to get started. It includes a headline, an image, a video from me, some learning objectives, and then, well, I'm going to skip over that, but you'll see that this is basically what my students traditionally have seen in the Learning Unit 1. Well, I won't skip over this. In content activities, I'll open this up. What you'll see in here is kind of the meat of the learning unit. These are just more things that the students are required to do. Read the syllabus, submit the student information form. There's a syllabus quiz. This is where they have to join Ning, which is a separate tool where they do blogging throughout the term. And then I have 2 icebreaker activities that they participate in for the first week. Okay, so that's the nuts and bolts of the whole first learning unit. Now let's go back out to learning units and take a look at test 1. And what you'll see here is that I have see if I can make that a little bigger on the iPad. Looks like I may have embedded it too large to display entirely on the iPad. I'll have to adjust that. Yeah, I did. I made the embed code too big. So I embedded the Tackk into Blackboard. And so this is how it looks in Blackboard. Some things are good. Some things are, I think, need some work. And I'd be curious to know what you think by looking at it. What you will notice is I can move it around the iPad, but I do need to make the embed smaller. But you'll see that the video is there and it does play on the iPad. So that is one problem that's resolved with Tackk that doesn't work well with the Blackboard. By the way, that video is actually hosted on YouTube and embedded into Blackboard. So that's the workflow there. And so you'll see that it plays fine within the regular browser as well. The design looks nice and clean. I think it looks a lot cleaner personally than the user interface with the way that I design the content using the Blackboard tools. I think that's an area that Blackboard really needs to improve. And the other thing that I really like about using Tackk is that I could actually ask my students, hey, are you planning on coming to the orientation that I'm going to hold this day, the first week? Yes or no or maybe. And so I'm kind of just, because it's optional. And so I want to know how many people are planning to attend. That's something that's really cool for me to ask them just real quick. And this is a link. Oops, that link isn't supposed to be there. That's an error. Let me see if that shows up here too. Yeah, it does. This is a link out to a syllabus that I created with another tool called Popular, populr.com. And so that's another great tool to create mobile-friendly content. And I have that linked in a couple places into Blackboard. And it renders great on my iPhone and iPad. I've tried that as well. And this is a Google form that the students go out to and just provide some information to me about themselves so I can get to know more about them and how they're feeling about the class. And it's something that I do with every start of every class. And so again, that's just a comparison between the traditional content and the content created in Tackk. I would also say that working with Tackk, one of the problems that I had with embedding was that the embed code that Tackk provides is very tiny, and I didn't like it, and so I enlarged the embed code, which is something that will probably be a problem for some instructors that aren't familiar with working with embed code. The other thing I don't like is that it creates the multiple slider, or I'm forgetting what these things are called over here. This is going to be an accessibility problem. That's a user problem over there. And then the other thing that Tackk needs to improve is when you upload images, there is no way to add an alt description, which is also an accessibility problem that will become an issue, that is an issue with higher education. So there's certainly some improvements that do need to be made, but I think it's something that both Blackboard, the LMS community, as well as the EdTech startup community can learn from and find some opportunities in, and I think educators can also learn from as well.